Hi, good evening. This is Hassan Rosani here, and I welcome all of you to tonight's webinar on SBL for June 2021 attempt being organized by ACCA Pakistan. I hope you guys are doing well. If you can see me, hear me, and see my screen clearly, can you please type yes in the question box? Very good, very good. Some of you are not able to hear me. Okay, so admin is checking. Maybe you need to check your own speakers, and I will ask my admin. Can you see my face, my screen, and hear my voice? Very good. So most of you are able to see me, hear me. So let's wait for one more minute because I can see that people are trying to join in. Today is the first day, so people are struggling. So let's wait for 1 or 2 more minutes. One more minute. Right. Let's start. So again, a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm really looking forward to the next 5 days of Power Pack session on SBL. Very, very intense exam focused session. And those of you who have not studied so far, don't worry. If you focus on the webinar, there's a strong chance that you can pass. All right, so all you need to do is work smartly rather than work hard. So let's begin. All right, so as I said, we will be spending like 1/3 of our time on the topics, and I would like to spend more time on actually the exam techniques, the professional marks, the case handling, the solving of papers. So that would be the format throughout. We will do few topics and then we will do a question and then we will move on to the next few topics. However, before we proceed, I would like to mention that this webinar is based on CBE approach. Okay, so I will be using the CBE platform to show you how to handle the paper in a CBE environment. However, those students who are giving manual paper need not worry. Wherever I feel that there's a difference, I would also provide guidance to people who are giving manual paper, but by and large, this session, these for next 5 days is based on CBE. Another very important thing, that this webinar is only for 15 hours, right? It is 3 hours each for next 5 days. So obviously we will not be able to cover as much topics as we would like to cover. So what I have done is you should watch the June webinar like this one, and you must also watch December 2020 webinar. Okay, highly recommended. The December 2020 webinar consists of other topics which I will not cover in this webinar. So putting combined together, December and June webinars will give you a comprehensive coverage. Okay, so do not forget to watch December 2020 webinar, but after we finish our June webinar, right? Very important. How do you ask questions? Okay, there's one simple way. You need to type your question in the question box. So all of you must familiarize yourself where the question box is, and unfortunately you will need to type your question in the question box. Okay, you should only and only ask questions pertaining to the slide under discussion or pertaining to the topic under discussion. Please do not ask any question which is outside the topic under discussion. Why? Because I will not be stopping the topic and answering non-relevant questions. It will break the tempo. However, I do respect your questions. So any questions which are not pertaining to the topic, please hold it, please note it somewhere, and every day, the last 10 to 15 minutes of this webinar, I would dedicate to a Q&A, question and answer session. So in those sessions, in those 15 minutes, feel free to ask whatever you want. But while we are going through the topics and the questions, restrict your question strictly to the topic under discussion. Having said that, please ask as many questions as you can, because this is your opportunity to seek clarifications. All right. Let me see if there are any comments so far. So Manpreet is asking, do we need to watch March 2021 webinar? No. Did I mention March 2021? No, right? So no. Where can we find the December 2020 webinar? It is on Vimeo. I believe it's also on YouTube, but most easy place, I have my own Google Drive in which I have saved all the webinars. So, you know, you can WhatsApp me and I will send you the link. Omar, manual attempt is happening in some countries, okay? All right, good enough. Let's move on. All right, so a very brief introduction of myself. I am a chartered accountant. I qualified from PwC in 1999, I believe, way back in 20 years back. And after doing my CA, I did several other certifications like CISA and CIA, and something in marketing, something in HR. And I've been working since last 20 years, and currently I am the CFO of insurance broking house in Dubai. So I live in Dubai and I work in Dubai, and teaching is my passion. I'm not a full-time teacher. I'm actually a finance professional. I sit in the board of directors of my company. And because since teaching has always been my profession, I do take out as much time as possible for me, especially over the weekends. I've been teaching for last 20 years and I just specialize in subjects like SBL and business management. Okay. And because I sit in the board of directors for last 10 odd years, I can share a lot of relevant examples for SBL which will help you understand the topics. Okay, I teach physically in Karachi, Pakistan, and I fly to Pakistan every week or every fortnight. And other than that, I teach online to a global batch. That's a paid batch actually. And this is my 5th consecutive ACCA's Practice to Pass webinar. So thank you to ACCA and good student feedback so far. So that's my SBL WhatsApp group. I do manage SBL WhatsApp group globally so that students can interact. The SBL community is there. People can ask questions. I can guide, I can post some material information. So if you want to join my SBL group, you can actually WhatsApp me on this number and I will share you the link. Also admin, if you are hearing me, if you can share the link after every 15-20 minutes so that students who are joining late can join the group. Okay. Right, so SBL's passing rate, so it's been like 46, 51, 49, 46, 47, 51, a slight dip here and then 50. So generally I think it's on the up. It's on the up. Last 3 attempts, I believe it looks like it's averaging around 50% pass rate. Now 50% pass rate in SBL is really good because if you see the other P level papers, they are much behind. So let us take full advantage while the SBL marker is generous. Okay, so make sure that June is your last attempt before they decide to squeeze out the results and the passing rates. Those of you who are studying SBL for the first time, you need to understand that SBL is very, very different. Most of the students feel that SBL is very, very difficult. No, it's not difficult. It is different. It is different from each and every paper you have given in ACCA so far. You have never ever given this type of a paper. Why do I say that? So I list down the list of those unique things which you will face in SBL only. Number 1, it is a one integrated case study of 12 pages long. So one big fat case study of 12 pages. Okay, that's huge. That's a lot of things to read, a lot of things to remember, and then a lot of things to consider while drafting your answer. Then it is the longest paper of ACCA, 4 hours. 4 hours is crazy. You know what will happen? What's wrong with 4 hours? You will be physically tired, you will be mentally tired, you will be frustrated, irritated. Your hand will become paralyzed in the last 1 hour. You know, so but you need to practice, you need to build up your physical and mental stamina. Then 20 marks for professional skills. 20 marks, so it's a 100 marks paper, out of which, so can I say 20% or 1/5 of your paper is from a topic called professional marks. So this can be the make or break thing. It's easy, but if you are not able to grab good marks in professional skills, you are screwed. Okay, so all your other papers, the maximum professional marks are, I think, 4 marks, but in this paper it's 20 marks. One, you can, you know, It's one full big question, 20 marks. But the good news is that in SBL, the professional marks have been well defined. They have been broken down into 5 components, and they are all very, very well defined. And don't you worry, I will teach you. I will teach you all these professional skills, techniques, and what they mean as we go along. Okay, but it is one of the most unique feature of SBL. Less emphasis on models, which is a good news. That unlike other topics, you don't need to focus a lot on SBL. And then there are various formats required. For example, the examiner asks you to draft a report. Well, fine, you guys have been drafting reports, but then briefing notes, and then memos, and then he asks you to prepare presentation slides and draft press release and emails and letters and project initiation documents. All these things you are expected to know, and the examiner does ask these things in his questions. So you need to be very, very familiar with all these things. Sorry guys, I just break my fast. I was fasting. It's just like 30 minutes. I'm really hungry. So I'll be munching a little bit as and when I get a chance. I hope you guys don't mind. So let me look at questions before I proceed. So Shaheen is asking, is it compulsory to use spreadsheets during the exam? No, not at all. In fact, I'm just talking about SBL, right? Not for any other subject. In fact, I would recommend that you guys don't use any spreadsheet. Just stick to the word processor, and we'll talk about this in more detail. Right. Some interesting comments which I would not like to share. Ramadan Mubarak to you as well, Azam. Why is December 2020 so important? Because I covered some extra topics in December 2020, which is not covered in this webinar. All right. So guys, do you want to take a look at how your SBL paper looks like, especially for those who are giving first attempt? Okay, so I am now on ACCA's Practice to Class Pass platform. I go to Strategic Business Leader. I click on Strategic Business Leader. And we will be doing, let's do this one. All right. So this, when for CBE students, this is how your screen will look. Okay. And on the left hand side, you will see a list of exhibits. You see, how many exhibits are there? Can anybody tell me? How many exhibits do you see on the list? Seven. 6. How come people are saying, okay, so on the screen there are 7. So there are, like, first one is the overview. We don't count that as an exhibit, but it is shown under the heading of exhibits, and then followed by 6 actual exhibits. So in total there are 7 exhibits. You can see that. And then if I go down, there are tasks. Now what are tasks? Tasks are questions. Okay, so how many questions are there in this particular paper? The examiner has asked you 3 questions and the marks are there. And then below the task, you will see response options. There you will see word processor and spreadsheet and slides. Okay. Now, you can actually, expand or reduce the length of or the width of this. So I would reduce the width of this. If I click on overview, if I click on overview, overview will open. Can you see the overview? You can, from this corner, the right down corner, you can actually increase the size and you can zoom. There's a plus button on the top. You can increase the view size. You can play around with the size of the window, all stuff you can do. Okay, you can. And then you can also open the word processor like this. You click on the word processor and the word processor will open, and you can, from the right corner, right down corner, you can adjust the word processor. You can bring it here. You can have multiple screens. You can read here and you can write and you can copy paste. So I will show you this in more detail, but right now your paper will consist of one overview. Overview means it will tell you the background of the company. It will be a half page to 1 page, and then followed by 6 exhibits. Okay. And then there will be questions and then your response options. Exactly same would be the format for manual paper: introduction or background, questions, and then the exhibits. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So here's the secret to pass SBL. Is it a different paper? Yes, it's a very different paper. If you want to pass a different paper, then you need to adopt some different techniques. The techniques which you have been using so far in any other ACCA subject may not necessarily work in SBL, because SBL is a different beast. So far, all along, you have been thinking that you are a student and your answer will be checked by the examiner. Am I right? You always, when you go into the board, when you go into the exam room, sorry, I was saying board room. When you go into the exam hall and when you do your paper, you always feel small and weak, and you feel that you are a student and the examiner is some horrifying guy. He will be checking your script. If not all, most of you would feel like that. But if you want to pass SBL, stop thinking that you are a student. No, you are not a student. Stop thinking that you are sitting in the exam hall. No, you are not sitting in the exam hall. You are a CFO. You are the CFO of that company, and you are sitting in the boardroom and you are talking to the chairman and the CEO and the marketing director and the HR director and the IT director. So the way you will talk, the points you will discuss when you are sitting in a boardroom like a CFO, this is what you have to write in your answers. Please digest this. You need to change your mindset. You need to wear the hat of a CFO. You should feel like a finance director, challenging everybody, talking sense. Do not sound like an accountant. Sound like a a finance consultant or a finance partner, but you need to feel from internally, you need to feel that you are the CFO, and of course you will be the CFO after few years. Yeah, so there's no harm. It's all a game of mindset. So when you are want to do SBL, think like a CFO. You know what is the common questions I get from students? Sir, should we show the calculations for ratio analysis? Now, I'm asking you these questions. This question, that for SBL, should we show calculation for ratio analysis in our report or in our whatever answer we do? You guys tell me. Why not? Yes, very good. Manur is saying because the board don't need to know that. Yes. You think the board will look at your calculations? No. Yeah, the examiner will look. But I'm not writing this script for the examiner. It's not any other paper. This is SBL. Do you know what SBL stands for? Strategic Business Leaders. And strategic business leaders, they sit in the boardroom and they talk strategies, not calculations of how you calculate gearing or interest cover. This is bullshit. So it's the point I'm trying to make is it's a different mindset. You should feel like a CFO and you should talk or draft like a CFO. Very good. Strategic, yeah, that's the keyword. So do you understand? Think like a student, think like a CFO, not like a student, and imagine that you are sharing your views with the board and not the horrifying examiner. Try this mentality and you will feel the difference, I promise you. Can you feel the difference now in your confidence? Yeah, I can feel. All right, move on. So let's understand why students fail SBL. The passing ratio is 50%, but yet students fail SBL. Why the hell? Because they think like students and they do the paper like for the examiner. So I picked up the latest examiner's report from September, yeah, and the most common issues which the examiner has, number one, he feels that the answers are not linked with the exhibits. So we are given how many exhibits? 6 exhibits are given to us. Aren't we supposed to refer to them? Aren't we supposed to use information from those exhibits in your answer? Of course. Otherwise, why the hell 6 exhibits have been given? So if you don't link your answer with the exhibits, if you don't use information from the exhibits in your answer, you will never, ever pass SBL. It's as simple as that. And then it is insufficient number of points according to the marks. So if the question says the marks is 22 marks and you give the examiner, or not the examiner, I beg your pardon, you give the board half-page answer for 22 marks, you think you will get marks? No. So our length and number of points, our arguments, our analysis should be according to the marks allocated. Okay, if it's less marks, we will talk less. If it's more marks, we will talk more. And then wasting time in writing irrelevant points. So again, when students, they don't refer to the exhibits or they struggle to find information from the exhibits, they try to write general stuff here and there, non-relevant. You will not get marks if you write general stuff in SBL or non-relevant stuff in SBL. You will not get marks. You will lose precious time and you will not get marks. And then this time, I saw this comment for the first time. I've never seen this comment before. Lack of analysis skill and commercial acumen skill. So these two are actually part of professional skills. So I can understand the examiner has valid reasons why not to pass. But have a look at this one. Now, these are some additional comments from the examiner himself. Now, he's saying that students are not answering complete requirement. Can anybody tell me what this means? Students are not answering complete requirement. It means that the question asks you to do this, 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 and this, and you are just doing this, and you forgot to touch upon the additional or other items. You think you'll get marks? That's incomplete question, right? For example, in a couple of attempts back, the examiner said, analyze the what is the impact of the external environment on my business or on that business. I repeat, the question was very simple. What is the impact of the external environment on that business? Understood? So a lot of students, they analyze the external environment. And which model, by the way, is used for external environment? Generally pastel and Porter 5 to some extent, yeah. So all the students, they did pastel. They analyzed the environment, but none of them talked about the impact on the business. And what was the bloody question? Analyze the impact of the environment on my business. So everybody analyzed the pastel, but nobody then linked that analysis on how it's going to affect my business. So just a couple of more extra lines would have gained you full marks. And because most of students, they did not talk about the impact, they never used the word impact in their answer, they were not able to pass the paper, I'm sure. Because the question did not ask you to do pastel, it asked you to talk about the impact of pastel on my business. Got it? So these are the fine things which you need to focus as a CFO. If the chairman is asking you, Mr. CFO, what is the impact of external environment? Then you talk about impact. Okay, straight question, straight answer. So it's an art to understand the question properly and then to respond specifically to what is required. You need to learn this when you sit in the boardroom. Okay, this is what is happening here as well. And then, oh my God, look at this, students not paying attention to the format required. So as I said, there are several formats which the examiner, he tests you, he asks you in various questions. So if the question says, draft a report for the finance director, would you draft a report or would you not draft a report? Of course, if the question says draft a report for the finance director, you will or you have to draft the report, right? But the examiner says most students, they don't do any format. They don't use the format which has been asked in the question. In fact, if you read the red lines, I I deliberately copy pasted this line, and this is the exact wording from the examiner's report. It is his word. I swear this is exact wording, and please read. The examiner is saying it was disappointing and rather baffling. Baffling means what the hell, as to why so many CBE students fail to present their answers in the correct format. Now, what rocket science is required here? Can anybody tell me? You need to be really stupid and crazy if you don't do the formats. Then you can't blame the examiner that he is not passing you. Okay, so the purpose is, please don't do these mistakes. There's no point in me doing all the hard work and you doing all the hard work, and then you end up doing these kind of mistakes. You will never pass. Okay, and then the examiner says copy pasting sentences from case and not adding own comments. So he feels that especially for CBE, a lot of students, they just copy paste the entire exhibit in the answer. Khalas. It's not a copy pasting exam. Fine, you can copy paste some information, but then you need to expand on that. You need to then build your own argument based on those facts. You just can't copy paste and go home. That's not your answer, right? And then he feels that giving long paragraphs with multiple points squeezed into one paragraph, he feels that you students are using models unnecessarily, and then students do give recommendations without supporting their recommendations. Guys, please avoid this kind of errors. This is unacceptable. I can understand these weaknesses. Yes, these are genuine weaknesses. We all will work hard in fixing these, but these are suicide. These are silly things. And if only you and you can fix it, I can't help you fix this thing. This is basic discipline. Okay, let me check some questions, please. Can we give examples on adding own comments? No. Mahagana is saying, can we give our own examples in our answers? I would say no, simply because of time management. The examiner expects you to talk about the exhibits, not your own personal examples. And there's no harm in giving, but it will take a lot more time, right? So we will really struggle about the time. Yes, all the formats, Uzair, I will show you each and every format during the course of next 5 days. What about the situation when information is limited? Yes, let's park this question towards later points. Where to ask questions? Basar, you can ask questions here. I heard about the new SBL pattern. What new SBL pattern? There, nothing has changed. So please stop hearing rumors, okay? Adnan is saying, I took March 21 webinar. Please, Adnan, let's be very simple. You do this webinar, June webinar, and then you do December webinar. Forget about March webinar. December webinar and March, and June webinar. Okay. Rishi, no, nothing. Okay, good enough. Where do I ask questions? Just type here, Baba. This is the question box. Yeah. So a lot of students are asking, sir, is a webinar sufficient? How much time is left? 5 weeks, correct? That's not a lot of time. You don't have time to open the book, right? 5 weeks is not enough. So forget the book, forget the kids. Now you need to adopt a focused and selective approach. First thing, watch June 2021 webinar. This is the starting point, right? So for the next 5 days, be very punctual, be very attentive, and in case you miss, the recorded version is available after 24 hours on Vimeo. Okay, religiously watch June 2021 webinar. It will cover 50% of the topics. Once you're done, next week you can watch the December 2020 webinar. Forget about March, December 2020 webinar, because the remaining 50% of the topics I have covered earlier in December 2020. So June and December webinars. All these two webinars will help you revise the top 15 topics and 10 models which are important. So I've tried to cover the top 15 topics and top 10 models between December webinar and June webinar. Okay. Then you can practice few questions from P1 and P3 if you have time. Okay. If you don't have time, forget about it. Then you must practice at least 3 to 5 SBL questions. And that too in writing. Don't do it mentally. Do it physically on CBE or solve it on a manual paper if you are a manual student with proper time management. You have to solve questions. Examiner always says that students, they don't practice. He can feel it. I can feel it. When I check scripts, and I do check scripts for mocks, I can feel that this student has not practiced. He is amateur, he is immature. After you have practiced 3 to 5 questions on SBL, then you need to do 2 mocks. Very mocks. 2 mocks under strict exam conditions, and you have to have it checked. Very important. I have seen especially those resit students who have failed between in 40s or late 40s, between 45, 44 to 49. These are classic cases where you need to do proper mocks and have it checked by the doctor. The doctor will check your mock and will diagnose what is your problem, and he will give you some pills and some vaccines and injections so that you get well for the exam. Very important. And just that I also offer mock classes. These are paid classes, unfortunately, because my college doesn't allow me to go overboard. But in this mock session, we will solve 3 to 5 SBL questions properly, and then I will organize 1 or 2 live mocks. All these are live sessions, and then I will be checking 1 mock for each of you so that I can give you feedback. So this is a paid session. It will start, I think, mid of May. Very intense. So, but exam focus, only practice, no lectures. Okay, so if you want, you can join this, and I will post the details on my WhatsApp group later on. So this is the study plan. Nothing more, nothing less, because you have just 5 weeks. You cannot be experimental, you cannot be adventurous when you just have limited time. Strictly follow this regime. Stay away from books and revision kits. Useless, pathetic. Do your practice from the actual papers, the live papers, okay? I have my simplified notes. You can take that from my Google Drive and do practice on SBL case studies. Let me take questions. Can we use your notes? Of course. Yes, Dush, you are right. I will guide you on that. Can you provide details of the mock revision? Of course, it will be on the group. I don't think this is the right platform to do my own marketing. It's unethical. Okay, some of the questions I will address while we go along. Okay, don't worry. List of important topics. So, as I said, you know, there were 10 models and 15 hot topics. So 50% of these topics are covered in June's webinar, like this one, and the remaining ones are in December. Okay. So I will show this list again on the last day so that you can focus on these topics. Now, again, a word of caution that this is not exhaustive list. This 80%, this list will cover like 70–80%. But because you only have 5 weeks, even if you are able to do this much, you are lucky. Okay, do not even think of anything outside this list because you don't have time. All right, so today's plan, we will talk about one exam technique, which is the most important, how to link answer with the exhibit. You remember the biggest weakness why students fail in the examiner's report? The first point, the students don't link their answers. So I want to start with this technique first, and then today I will do SFA and financial projections. SFA is the most important topic of SBL. If someone asks me at 3 o'clock in the night, tell me one important topic in SBL, and I would say SBL or SFA. Okay, very important. It is asked in every alternative attempt. So I think it was not tested in the previous one. So this time it's highly expected. And financial projections, you will see a question in almost every attempt. Today I will also cover evaluation skill, and under the formats we will talk about the report format. So are you guys ready for the exam technique? How to link answer with exhibit. You know, the first starting point when you see your question paper for the first time, whether physical or on the screen, the first thing after praying and saying Bismillah, the first thing you should do is make a list of requirements. I repeat, the first thing you will do as soon as you see your paper is make a list of requirements. You will actually make a list. Manual students, where you will make the list? You will make the list on the last page of your physical answer sheet. So you will obviously have your answer sheet. Turn it around, go to the last page, right on top of answer planning. Just give a heading so that the examiner doesn't get confused. And on the last page, you will make a list of requirements, and I will show you how to make a list of requirements. Okay. And what about CBE students, where you will make the list? You will not have a physical paper, or so CBE students, you will make the list on the online answer sheet or the word processor. So there are two things available. I think one is the scratch pad. So do you see a scratch pad? It's on the top. You see this one? Do you see scratch pad on the top? Do not use this. Do not use this. Do not use this. This is useless. Directly go to the word processor. Open the word processor. You click on the word processor. It will open and we will make the list. Copy paste the requirements here. You understand? Now the question is, why do we make the list? Why do we make the list? Will it not take precious extra minutes? Yes, it will take precious extra minutes. I would say 5 minutes. But the reason why we make the list is so that we can see all the requirements in one go in one page. So that we can see all the requirements in one page. Why? Because the requirements in SBL, they are not on one page. They are all scattered over 3 to 4 pages. So it's not practically possible that you flip through pages all the time. So I want the list of requirements in front of my eyes in one page, so that when I am reading the exhibits, I can refer to the list of requirements again and again, because I will forget all the requirements. It's not possible to remember all the requirements while reading the case. But if I have made a small list, then I can always refer and do my marking and linking if I know the requirements. So very, very important that you make the list of requirements. So now I will make the list of requirements. I will on CBE. So I go to the CBE. I will open the word processor. I will take it on one side. Then I will open task 1. I will bring this on this side. I will reduce it a bit. And can you see the requirement A? I just copy all this. Forget about the professional marks. I just copy. I will say question 1 and I paste it. Control A. Oh God, look at the formatting. This is crazy. I hate this. Let me try something else. Right click, copy. Nice. Okay, doesn't matter. Or let me show another way. Copy A. So do you see how I selected the paragraph? 3 clicks. If you make 3 clicks, the entire para will be selected. So 1, 2, 3. You see? So instead of selecting like this, you are moving your browser like this and this and this. That's time consuming. You go to the para, you take your mouse to the para, and 3 quick clicks. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Right click, copy, here, paste. Oh, what's happening? You see, these are the problems of CBE. Yeah. What is B? I go to B, tuck, 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 control C. Here I go, control V. Now, next is question 2. So I close this exhibit. I go to task 2. I tuck, 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 control C. I go here. I go here, control V, enter, enter. 2A and tuck, tuck, tuck. 3 clicks and B. 3. I close this exhibit. I go to task 3. Quickly, I bring this window here like this. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Control C. I paste it here. Control V. And then I go here. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Control C. I paste here. Control V. Okay, done. I just want to check. Yeah. All done. So it took like 2 minutes on CBE to copy paste the entire requirement. For manual students, obviously you are not supposed to write all this. So you will just pick up the keywords. For example, what is required in this? Can anybody tell me? The chief business analyst has asked you to prepare briefing notes for the finance director for consideration at the next board meeting, which discusses the key factors which have enabled Highlight to be successful in its home country of D-Land. So this is the requirement. Key factors. B, write a report for the finance director which evaluates the proposal to acquire Comfy Stay Hotel. Okay. This one is reassuring. This one is assess the role and benefits. You see, the last couple of sentences is the requirement. This one is discuss the potential challenges of disruptive technologies and assess the outcomes. So you will see the requirements in one go. So when we are reading the case, we know that all the requirements are here. Understood? Let's go back. So once you have made the list of requirements, then we will read 1 or 2 paragraphs. We can highlight all the key information or relevant information. And then the manual students, you will do the referencing. For example, you will write the question number in front of that paragraph. If you feel that this paragraph I can use in question number 2B, just write 2B. And how would you know you can use this in 2B? You have already made a list of requirements. So from here you can browse through this list every now and then. After reading 2-3 paragraphs, you can stop, you can see, and then you can plan and do your referencing. Write, physically write on the question paper the question number or whatever word, keyword you want to write, so that you know that this paragraph can be used in question number this or that. Or if it's pastel, so you can write P or political or social, whatever language you understand. For CBE students, it's very simple. When we read a paragraph and if we see something important, we just do Control-C. We will paste that paragraph or that sentence, copy it, and then we will go to our answer sheet here and we can paste it under the respective question. We will start dumping. The important information from the exhibits. We will pick it up and we will dump them into under the respective questions. Once we have gathered all the points from the exhibits, then we can we can format, we can add our comments, this and that. The first and foremost thing is we have to pick up some basic information from the exhibit and use it in our answers. So that is why I will copy and dump under the respective question. So we do 1 and 2 paragraphs, we do it, and then after 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, again you will repeat the above steps as we go along. It is easier said than done. I'm a good salesman, I make it sound easy, but it's not easy. You have to do some multitasking, you have to show some smartness. Okay, you understand how to link, you read, you reference, and when you do a physical referencing, then you make sure that you use that sentence in your answer. And when you are doing an online paper, then you can copy paste the sentence and dump it under the respective questions. Let me look at any question. I was not able to copy paste. Yes, Sanmeet, you're absolutely right. Sometimes this CBE software, it doesn't perform the way it's supposed to be performed because of the immense load or pressure globally. So you must be mentally prepared. Either you can do Control C and then Control V, or there is a copy paste option. Copy paste option is there. You can use that. Worst case scenario, if you are not able to copy paste, then you need to type. You need to find a way out because it's 4 hours are running out. I have missed by 1 mark. Oh God. Sir, can you show how to highlight the information in the exhibit? Yes, Chandni, I will show you right away. There is only one Word document for all requirements. Yes, there is only one document, Word document. All your answers and requirements will sit in that one document. That is why it's very important that you do your question number, name your question 1, question 2, question 3. How can we make sure that our work will be saved? Intelligent question Lydon. The CB software, it automatically auto saves your work every 60 seconds. So even if I close it now, let's see. Let's try. Let's spend 5 minutes on, where is it? So let's say I close this word processor. Closed, okay? Now someone asked me, how do we highlight? So you just highlight. You have these colors, yellow, green, pink. You select the color, you press highlight, and you select, open this, you select, and then you press highlight button, and it will be highlighted. You want to remove, you select, and you click here, you remove highlight. Got it. Okay, you understand how to highlight? You can increase the view size by plus and minus, or you can reduce. Okay, now let's see my Word document. Let's open it, whether the things are saved or not. Aha, it's all there, you see. So don't worry, it will auto save. Okay, any more questions? Where is it? All right, let's move on, guys. Are we allowed to use an extra monitor for the exam? No. What's the hand tool for? Hand tool, I can't remember. I'll let you know later on maybe. Please show copy and paste from exhibit. I will show you because we will do it. Yeah. Articles, Dimple, please don't ask questions which are not pertaining to the slide. Yes, sorry, I was on mute. Now you can hear me, see me clearly. I lost the connection. Sorry, guys. Thank God. Very good. I hate this. I hate this. All right, cool. Let's go back. So now the main topic. Just a minute, guys. I need to check my time management. I want to see. Oh, we are running short, behind schedule. So can I quickly do SFA and then we take a break? No, we have like we started 7:30, 8:30. Yeah, okay, we are on time. Right. So let's start with SFA, our first topic. So you see, SFA, the first question is, when do we use SFA? Or why is it used? Or where is it used? How do we know it's a SFA question? So SFA is a model which is used to evaluate a proposed strategy. The word here is a proposed strategy, something in future. So if the company is thinking of doing something different in future, a new strategy, a new product, a new country, a new factory, a new acquisition, anything new, proposed strategy, in order to evaluate that strategy, we use SFA framework. Okay. However, from an exam point of view, you should not use SFA for any type of proposed strategies. You should, for exam point of view, you should only use SFA when we plan to acquire another company. That's the keyword. Okay. So whenever the case says that the company is thinking of acquiring, that's the main word. Let me write it in red. Acquiring. If you see this word, then in your exam you use SFA. But if you don't see this word, the question still says evaluate the proposed strategy of me marrying Angelina Jolie. I will evaluate the proposed strategy of me marrying Angelina Jolie, but I will not use SFA because I did not see the word acquiring. So restrict yourself to SFA only for acquisition related questions. For all other scenarios of proposed strategies, you can do a common sense pros and cons rather than getting stuck in SFA. Am I clear? Let me give 3 examples. So the first one, evaluate the proposal of acquiring ABC company situated in XYZ country. Would you use SFA here in your paper, or would you use a general pros and cons approach? Please type. Very good. SFA. And why do you say SFA? Because there's a very clear word, acquiring. Remember this word I specifically wrote in red. If you see this word in the question, SFA, SFA, SFA. Khalas. This one. Now tell me about this one. Evaluate the option of opening a new restaurant in another city. What do you think? SFA or general pros and cons or general common sense approach? General approach, common sense approach, pros and cons. Because you remember in SBL, it is not mandatory to use a model, and the examiner has mentioned several times that students who do not use models but they still manage to cover all the important aspects, they will get equally good marks. Okay, so what about this one? Evaluate the proposal of adding a new product to our existing product. SFA. Yes, although all these three are proposed strategies, you see this word, they're all proposed strategies, they're all futuristic plans, and theoretically we can use or we should use SFA in all of them. But from an exam point of view, because SFA is time consuming, just restrict yourself when there's an acquisition question. Otherwise, if there's no acquisition and the question says evaluate the proposed strategy of me marrying Angelina Jolie, we will adopt a common sense logical approach. Okay, that's the first thing. When do we use SFA? Only in one circumstances for exam purposes, and that's a question on acquisition. Now the acquisition can be in the same city. I'm acquiring a company or I'm acquiring a hotel or a restaurant in the same city. It could be a hotel in another city of the same country, or it could be a hotel in another country altogether. Doesn't really matter. Okay, it's acquisition, same city, same country, another country. So SFA stands for suitability, feasibility, acceptability. So suitability, it focuses on external factors. You know what are external factors versus internal factors? Okay, come on, guess from the name. What is external factors? External factors are external factors. Factors which are outside the organization, they are beyond the direct control of the organization, like the political situation of the country or the economy or social demographics or customer behaviors or level of competition or technology availabilities. All these are external factors. And what are internal factors, which is actually covered under feasibility? Feasibility focuses on internal factors. Internal factors means things within the organization, things going on inside my bedroom. Private, internal, none of your business. Internal factors. External factors, thing going outside my bedroom. Okay. Internal factors includes employees, or can I say human resource, management, experience, financial resources, human resource, financial resource, technology, and brand. So brand is also an intangible asset for me, right? So suitability, it focuses on external factors, and feasibility, it focuses on internal factors. Very big distinction between the two. Do not write any internal factor under suitability, and do not write any external factor under feasibility. Otherwise, I will make sure you will not pass. Okay. Now, under suitability, I want you to cover 3 areas, or I can say subheadings, okay, or 3 broad paragraphs. First, we will talk about the home country, the external factors like political, economic, social, techno, eco, legal, customers, suppliers, competitors. All this about the home country. Home country means where I am currently based. Then the next section would be I need to cover something. I need to talk about the target country if it's another country, or the target city if it's another city. If it's the same city, then you don't need to have, because but if the target city is different than your existing city, or the target country is different from your home country, then you will do a section on target country, and then definitely the target company. You will talk about all the things about the target company which is provided to you in the exhibits. So generally this one is very easy. Your exhibits will contain all this information. You will have information about home countries, the pros and cons, the challenges. You will have information about target country, the pros and cons, the challenges, and you will have information about target company, the pros and cons and challenges. All you need to do is copy and dump. Any questions on suitability? I will just go through the questions before I move to the next. Very good. Yasser Khan, favorable, unfavorable, I would not use in SFA, but it's not like favorable, unfavorable, I would like to use in pastel, but in SFA, you know, okay, you can also use, but not necessary. What to discuss in target country and company? Whatever information is given in the exhibit, that is your whole universe, Baba. Whatever is given, you need to discuss on that. You don't need to think and create something on your own. Conclusions? No, 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 no. Don't give conclusions, and we'll talk about it later. How many paragraphs? Doesn't matter. It all depends on the availability of information. The mass break I will give in around 10, 15 minutes max. Okay. All right. Feasibility, we all know it talks about internal factors. So here, make sure that your first section talks about human resource. Your second section talks about financial resource, and the third section talks about technology or brand. And again, all this will be given where? It will be given in your exhibits. Whatever is given, the pros, the cons, the goods and the bad, the bold, beautiful and the ugly, whatever information is given, just cover that in your answer. When we talk about human resource, there are three aspects which, if you can remember, it will help you gain marks. The first aspect is, do we have acquisition experience from the past? So if we are going to acquire, or if we are planning to acquire another company, so the first question is the board will ask, have we done any acquisition in the past? Do we have any experience of acquisition? Because you know, acquisition by nature is a complicated activity. Then we need to cover, do we have experience of managing similar business? So yeah, so if it is the same industry, then yes, we do have the industry experience. But if we are diversifying into something extremely different, then we need to question how or from where we will get the management competencies required to run that business. And do we have experience of working in an overseas country? If the case is about another country, then we need to see whether we have ever worked outside our home country or not. These are some basic common sense questions. Financial resource, what you will see that whether you have the funds to acquire. So listen guys, we are talking about acquisition, and acquisition needs money, lots of money. So if you are broke, if you don't have $10 in your pocket, don't even bother to think about acquiring a company. You're wasting your time, right? So very, very important that we need to analyze at this stage whether the company has funds to acquire another company. And we may look at the gearing ratio if the financials are giving. If the gearing is low, that means that we can raise funds. If the gearing is high, then we will struggle to raise funds required to acquire the company. And then third section, we talk about technology or brand. For example, if we have a website, if we have any special kind of online presence or some software, or we have a established strong brand, we can talk about this under technology and brand. You will need to remember. So suitability, how many paragraphs? How many sections? 3. Feasibility, how many sections? 3. One on human resource, one on financial, one on technology / brand. The third one is acceptability. Now, acceptability, it focuses on the financials of the target company. So, whom we gonna acquire? Of course, if we are paying money, I want to buy a company which is good. And how do I know it's good? I will look at their financials. I will do some due diligence, financial due diligence. I will see their revenues and their historic profits and their balance sheets. This is where your expertise is as a finance student, right? So the financial analysis of the target company is done under the topic of acceptability. Yeah, but this is mainly in third section. The first section, we will talk about whether our shareholders will accept the proposed strategy. So you see, the acquisition is not normal. It is a major decision. And all major decisions the board cannot take. The major decisions have to be approved by the owners of the company who are shareholders. So the board can always propose and suggest, but the approval needs to come from the shareholders. That's very important. So there's no point in wasting time if I think my shareholders will not ever approve acquisition. That is why we look at this. So if it's a family-owned business, or if it's a private company, like a family-owned business, is that the owners themselves are the directors, or the directors or the board are themselves the owners. That's a family business. Or a private company, it's a small private group. So if the owner, or if the director is the owner, or the owner is the director, then it will be by default acceptable because they are one and the same person. But if it's a listed company where the board or the directors are not the shareholders, then the shareholders will need to approve if the proposal has a positive NPV. So if the NPV is healthy, then there is no reason why shareholders will decline. Yeah. And then if the target country is based in another country, then we should consider any cultural differences. This I will explain in a bit. So acceptability will focus on mainly shareholders' approval and the financial analysis or financial performance of the target. Conclusion required. No conclusion required, please. Even if it's a report, do not give any recommendation or conclusion on your own. If the question says evaluate the proposal and give your conclusion, then yeah, of course you have to give. But if the question is silent, it doesn't specifically talk about recommendation or conclusion, then you also keep silent. No need to voluntarily offer conclusion, even if it's a report, because it will waste precious time and you guys will goof up. You guys are not fit to give conclusions. It is actually the board who will decide, right? Based on this report. So let the board do their job. If you feel that SFA is getting complicated, sometimes there is like too much information, or some you feel that, you know, being using SFA, it will create more problems, then it is not compulsory to use SFA. We will use a general common sense logical approach. As I mentioned, it is, you will get equally good marks if you cover all the relevant points. So if you don't use SFA like suitability, feasibility, acceptability, then if you want to simplify your answer, you can use these three broad headings: external factors, which is in fact it's suitability, right? Then another broad heading called internal factors, and a third broad thing is financials. If you cover these three without using SFA, then also you are safe, provided that your answer is logical and sensible. And it is not haphazard, it is flowing in a logical, professional manner. Let me look at questions. Hamza, I will show you. On suitability, would you explain why a home country is external? External means, internal means inside my company. Anything which is outside my company is external. So my home country, my country is outside. It's not sitting inside my company. Do we conclude the paragraph of feasibility? No, no, no. Please avoid conclusions of any sort. Should we link SWOT to suitability? Yes, you can, if you want to complicate your life. Indirectly, you are doing a SWOT. Like SWOT is also internal, strength, weakness, internal. Yeah, so if you're not using, so if you see this one, this approach, this one is nothing but SWOT in a different manner. So yeah, you can use SWOT, but stick to this heading. But the concept is the same or similar, I would say, not same. If you don't have any negative information, then it's fine. You just mention any positive information. Okay. Financial projections, I will teach you once we reach there. So I will park it for the time being. So guys, now do you want a break? You want a break? No? Why you guys are saying no? Oh God. Okay, so let me give a good break. So it's 9, almost 9:01. No, it's 10 in Pakistan, right? So sorry, I'm using Dubai time. 10. So I will give a 15 minutes break. So please be here at 10:15 sharp. Okay, 10:15 sharp. See you guys. Sorry guys, there's something wrong with my question box, so I'm trying to fix it. Give me a few minutes. All right, are you guys able to hear me and see me? Very good. Okay, so let's start. So this question which we are about to do, let me get rid of this thing first. So this question which we are about to do is basically December 2018 paper. It's called Highlight Hotels, and we will be doing question number 1B. And this question, it wants you to prepare a report. So let's first understand the report format so that we are able to prepare a report when we start the question. So please pay attention, because the examiner says that students do not give appropriate formats. So whenever you are asked for a report, you will always start from a fresh page. In fact, each and every requirement should be start from a fresh page. But for CBE students, obviously it is a running page, but for manual, it has to be a new page. You will give a broad heading called report. It will be right in the center of your page so that the examiner can see very clearly that it's a report. Then there will be a to, and in to you will need to address the report, who the report is addressed to, from, your role. So your role would be given in the question. Okay, never ever write your name in your paper. Do not write your name under from. Never write SBL student. Your role will be defined in the SBL paper, so you need to write your role. Then there will be a short subject which you can copy the keyword from the requirements, and there will be a date, and the date should be the date of your paper, which is, I think, 8 June 2021, if I'm not wrong. And then there will be a heading called introduction, and it will say this report da 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 da, and you can copy paste from the requirement. It is as simple as this, and this can help you score 1 or 2 marks under professional skills. Okay, very simple. Do I have a question on the report format? Yeah, the WhatsApp group is full. Then I will create another WhatsApp group after the class. So just message me 1-to-1 and I will send you another link. Okay. How to end the report? Good question. Don't do it. You can just say, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Khalas. Do we need to write introduction? Yeah, Baba. What kind of question is that? I just showed you introduction. Right. The second thing in this question is a professional skill called evaluation skill. Very, very important concept, evaluation skill. It simply means you need to cover both pros and cons in your answer. Whenever you see the word for professional skills, if the examiner wants you to demonstrate evaluation skill, evaluation means you are supposed to give a balanced argument, and a balanced argument in layman language means you need to cover both the pros and cons of the proposed strategy. So as long as you talk about both positives and negatives, you will get full marks for evaluation skills. Very simple. It's very easy to score evaluation skills because all you need to do is make sure that you cover both pros and cons. Now the pros and cons, they don't have to be equal. If you have 10 points and 8 points are pros and 2 points are cons, that's perfectly acceptable. But the point is there has to be some cons, not only pros and cons. Okay, got it? So let's go to the CBE platform. I will first open my Word document. I will put it on one side. Okay, this is good. And I know the questions, right? So we are good. We are going to do question number 1B. So what does 1B says? Let's read. Where is 1B? 1B. Can you read, please? The board of highlight. How do I mark here? The board of highlight has identified. Can you read this? I don't know. The board of highlight has identified an existing chain of hotels called Comfy Stay, located in Vilandia, which it is considering acquiring. You see the word acquiring? See the word acquiring? Very good. So the moment you see the word considering acquiring, it's futuristic. Which model? Come on. SFA, right? The chief business analyst has passed you a fact sheet which he prepared containing data relating to the proposed acquisition. Another keyword, SFA, required. Using the fact sheet referred to above, just a minute, guys, I'm getting a call from ACCA office. आ रही है वीडियो? अब हाँ, अब आ रही है वीडियो? ठीक है, इसको यहाँ पे फिक्स करना होगा, हम इसको ऐसे छोड़ नहीं सकते। और मैं कंटिन्यू कर रहा हूँ। ओके। Hi guys, extremely sorry, my apologies. I was told that you guys are not able to see my video. So there's some problem with the camera, so my video needs to be off. Doesn't matter. But are you able to hear me and see the screen clearly? I need to see a yes before I proceed. Very good, very good. So let's hit the road now. We wasted like 10 precious minutes. Oh God. But it happens. Okay, so pros and cons, yeah. So now we were where is this? I think I lost the paper. I don't know why. Give me a second. I'll just reload the paper. Just give me a couple of minutes. I'm loading the CBE platform. It takes a while. Okay. So we know that we need to prepare, write a report prepare a report for the finance director, which evaluates the proposal to acquire Comfy Stay hotel chain. So you see this word evaluate, this word is not important. So from a professional skills point of view, there's another paragraph. It always will start from this word, professional skills marks are available. So you need to follow this paragraph to see which skill the examiner wants. So this word evaluate in the question is not from a professional skill point of view. Let's read this one. Professional skills marks are available for demonstrating evaluation skills, and they will also give you some hint in presenting a balanced and objective appraisal of the relevant information relating to the proposed acquisition of Comfy Stay hotel chain. Okay, so it's a report and it's an evaluation skill. So now I will close this because I have this requirement here as well. Let's read the overview now so that you know what we are talking about, what this case is about. So I'll read the first paragraph. I will do some selective reading because obviously not everything is relevant to this paragraph. Highlight Hotels is a listed hotel chain located in the country of D-Land. Just digest this. It's a listed company and it's in a country called D-Land. D-Land has a developed economy which has experienced strong growth in the last 15 years. D-Land also has a highly developed tourism industry. So let me highlight this. And then let's read this paragraph. In the last 10 years, Highlight has made significant investment in web-based technology, which has resulted in over 75% of room bookings in 2007. So I just highlight this bit, okay? Highlight operates with low numbers of staff in each hotel, but the staff in these hotels is highly trained to provide excellent customer service. Okay, I just highlight this information. It talks about technology. It talks about my human resource. Also, what about this? It is now the largest hotel chain in D-Land. Important information. And what about this? Although it is currently the leading hotel brand in D-Land, Highlight faces fierce competition from several home-based and international hotel chains. So enough. So let's summarize the important information and then we will see how and where we can use. So Highlight is a listed hotel chain in D-Land, and D-Land is a developed economy, strong growth, and the hotel tourism industry is also highly developed. Can anybody tell me developed economy, strong growth, and highly developed tourism industry, internal factor or external factor? And do you remember where we put external factors? If we go to SFA, there are some external factors. You see this? And it's about home country. Very good. And then can I copy this? Control C. I go to the Word document. How do I go there? I click here on the Word. Okay, got it. So we copy pasted some information about what is this? Home country. Is that okay? Did you understand? I just saw something relevant and I copy pasted it under the right. So it might take you a few seconds to think where I can use this information. And if you know your topics well, you would know that this is an external factor and you can use it under question number 1B, home country. Any questions? Very good, guys. All of you are bang on. Very nice. Do we need to give subheadings? Up to you. Do we need to give subheadings like home country, target country? Not necessarily. Should we copy paste immediately or once we read? I suggest don't copy paste immediately. First you highlight and then you can stop and think and then you copy paste. Can anybody tell me where I can use this information? Although it is currently the leading hotel brand, highlight faces fierce competition from several. Is this good or bad? Pros and cons. So the economy is good, industry is good, but I need to find a negative point because the professional skills also talks about pros and cons. Highlight faces fierce competition. Yeah. So can I copy this? Where can I copy this? Again under home country, I think. Okay, what else? They have made significant investment in web-based technology. Technology is the key word. Can anybody tell me technology? I saw that word. Technology. Can anybody tell me technology? Feasibility, yeah? They have made significant investment in web-based technology. That's a good strength. It's an internal thing. So let's copy this. Control C and let me give the heading feasibility, and under feasibility I paste this word technology there. Okay, now staff in these hotels is highly trained to provide excellent customer service. Staffing, again an internal thing, so I will put here. Okay, back to my exhibit. Now this paragraph very important. You are a senior business analyst working within the business analysis department of Highlight. You report to the chief business analyst, who reports directly to the finance director on a wide range of blah, blah, blah. What is your role? You are a senior business analyst. Extremely important point. You have to remember your role throughout, okay? And in every report, every briefing paper, wherever your role needs to be mentioned, you will write senior business analyst. Now there's one last point. Can anybody tell me about this? Where we can use the first sentence that it is a listed company. Where in SFA we talk about listed versus family owned or private. Feasibility, no. Acceptability, yeah, you see. So can I copy paste this information under acceptability? I go feasibility, I create another heading ACCE PTIBILITY, and I paste this information that it is a listed hotel chain. Okay. Any problems so far? Any problems so far? This is the foundation of linking, trying to think where to put. So manual students, what you will do, how you will do, manual students will write here. On the left side, you will write technology, you will write 2A, you will write the 1A, sorry, you will write the question number against each of these points, 1A, 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 so that when you go to the drafting of your answer in a manual paper, all you need to do is search for all the 1As, pick it up and put it in your answer. For CBE, it's slightly easier because you only have to copy paste, but for manual guys, you will have to write these sentences. So introduction is done. I will close this exhibit. And then let me go to exhibit 4. There's another exhibit here which tells me more about the industry, D-land hotel industry. So can anybody tell me D-land hotel industry, any information in this exhibit where I can put it in SFA? Internal, external, home country, target country. Can you guess? D-land hotel industry report. Where any information I will use? Let me see your answers. Home country. Yeah. Can I say suitability home country? Very good. No target, not target, Baba. D-land is home country. Why do you say target company? Home country and suitability. Very nice. See, SBL is more of a IQ test. If you are smart, nobody can stop you from passing SBL. You need to be street smart. Okay. Now I want to go to a fact sheet because we are limited in time. We cannot read all the exhibits. So now this is also given to you, a fact sheet. Let me increase the comfy stay hotel chain. As the name says, comfy stay hotel chain. Is it me? No, it's the target company. It's the target company, right? We want to buy comfy stay. So let's read this exhibit. Key business industry data. Comfy Stay is a family-run business which has lacked investment in the last 10 years. Family, it's a family run business. Okay. Why it is not highlighting? Highlight. Press the button highlight. Sorry guys. Select the color and press highlight. Yeah. All 20 hotels in the chain are in operation for 18 years and are located in the blah, 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 blah. These are mid-range hotels. It's basically a mid-range hotel, and we are actually a budget hotel. It's mentioned somewhere, we did not read that we are a budget hotel. A budget hotel means that we are cheap. Our strategy is to sell cheapest so that to attract more volumes. And this one is a mid-range hotel for middle class people, and it's not a budget hotel. So I just highlighted it because it tells me about comfy hotel. Now Villandia is 5,000 miles from the land. It has a developing economy, but low wage rate, and there is some evidence of poor employment practices in the country, some evidence of I just highlighted. It tells me about Villandia. Now who the hell is Villandia? Villandia is the target country, and it says Villandia has a thriving tourism industry. Enough. So now can we copy paste? Comfy Stay Hotel is a family run business. Control C, where I will put this. I'll go to my Word, or I will just reduce the size so that I can quickly navigate. I move it here. Okay, copy, Control C. Where will it go? Suitability, home country. Then we'll talk about target country, and I will paste this here. Oh no, target country, no. This is target company. I paste it here. What else? It's a mid-range hotel. Okay, I just copy this, Control C, I will paste it here. Now Villandia, this all will go where? Control C, target country, and this sentence as well. Okay, done. I'll close this exhibit. Now we have taken up some key information from the case, right? Okay. The first thing is something is still pending, but I want to show you how to construct your answer. What is the format required? Can anybody remind me which format is required? Yeah, report. So I will write a heading report. Now look very carefully. I will select it. I will center it. You see those left align, right align, center it. And I will increase the font size so that it becomes very visible. So I will go here and click the paragraph option. Paragraph, you will see all these various options. I would give heading 1, a big heading, report. I can also underline by using underline option, or Control U, or underline. Does it look nice? Okay. Now in a report format, what do I need? There has to be a to, from, subject, date, introduction. These are the standard headings of a report. Notice that I have left one blank line in between just to visually make it more nice and open and not cramped. So who is this report addressed to? The question was saying, I remember the question mentioned that someone was addressed in it. So let me open the question 1B. Prepare a report for the finance director. What do I write? Finance director. That's it. From. What is my role? I remember it was somewhere here. Senior business analyst. Okay, you can copy paste from here or you can type. Subject. Now, what do you want this subject to be? So I need to read the requirement. Subject has to be very short and 2 or 3 words. So what is the subject? Proposal to acquire Comfy Stay Hotel. Subject can be acquisition, or it can be acquisition of Comfy Stay, or it can be Comfy Stay Hotel. That's it. It has to be short, but it should be able to tell you what this report is about. So I would say acquisition of Comfy Stay Hotel. That's it. Date would be 8 June 2021. Introduction. Now, where do I get the introduction from? I will copy paste from the case. But I will first say this report, and then I will go to the requirement, and I have the requirement here. And I can copy paste evaluates the proposal to acquire Comfy Stay Hotel. Control C. I go down, I go here, and I paste. Full stop. You can also say using SFA model, or if you it's not important. If you say, then it's okay. If you don't say, then also it's okay. Do I have, and then your heading would be suitability, which is already here. So now, do I have any questions on the format? See how simple. Report in center with big thing. I can also make this one a little bigger by heading 2. Oh, it's too big. Heading 3. Okay, or I can leave it like this. Do I have any questions on the format? Is one sentence enough for intro? Yes, enough, Baba. Whatever is given in the requirement, just copy paste 1 sentence or 3 sentences. Do not think this much. Paper base should leave line in the format. Yes, please leave as much line, 1 line after each heading, each paragraph. We have only copy paste. Yeah, I will work on it. Wait, I'm just formatting right now. Marks for the format, I would think 1 mark. Okay. Right. So now my skeleton is ready. The report format, to, from, subject, date, introduction. Let me unbold this sentence. Suitability. We will talk about, either you can remove the home country heading, or you can, what's the name of home country? D-land. What's the name of target country? V-land. What's the name of target company? Okay, this is how you personalize and link your answers with the case. Now, D-land has a developed economy. which has experienced growth. This is the positive point. Okay, where is the negative point? So now what can I write extra one line just to break the copy pasting thing? So does it make sense that they should look for international acquisition? Hanji, what do you think? If you're sitting in the board of directors and you say, okay, yeah, we are already the leading brand, but now things are getting tough. We are facing fierce competition here as well as internationally. So now I think we should think about expanding because we already are the market leaders in our country. Okay. Now something about VLAN. Villandia is 5,000 miles from DLAN. I don't like this thing. I would say Villandia has a developing economy but low wage rate, and there are some evidence of poor in the country. Enough, no repetition. But I would say on the positive note, Villandia is a thriving tourism industry which will benefit us if we decide to enter Villandia. What do you think? Very simple conclusion, not conclusion, but how does it impact me or my decision? What about Comfy Stay Hotel? It's a family-run business which has lack investment. It's mid-range hotels with some additional leisures. It's not. What happened? It's not class as a budget hotels, although we are operating as a budget hotel in D-Land. That's it. Very, very basic, your own thought in one line. So what I just did was to break the copy pasting thing. Obviously, if you just copy paste and do not add your comments, you will not get marks. But the moment you write one sentence from your dumb head, you will get marks. And that one sentence has to be just a basic thing, no rocket science. Any questions? Do you understand how you play around with copy pasting? Very good. Do you lose marks if you put pros before the cons? Not really. Like in the board of directors, would you lose marks if you talk about the negatives? It doesn't really matter. Yes, you can mention the name of the model if you want. It's all about time management. How will we develop the points further? Allah Baba Wasim. No need to develop the points further. You will run out of time. Just one or two sentences on your own on top of the information you used. That's enough. It may look small because of CBE, but if you reduce this thing, it becomes a proper answer. Because I've expanded the view, it looks like one-liner, but they are not one-liners. They are a good Good answer, you see. They are proper sentences, so no need to develop them further. Keep it simple. Feasibilities. Okay, so let me close this. Now again I go to the fact sheet, because you remember I did not read it completely. There is some investment, or this one is saying key investment data based on 6 years. So this is about our investment data, like the performance of Comfy Stay. Can anybody tell me where we can use this under SFA? The financial performance or analysis of the target company. Where does it go? Under which heading? And let me see, because I'm acceptability. Excellent guy. Very good. I'm impressed. So I will analyze this data in a bit. Oops, what is this additional information? It is expected that some of D-Land's hotel managers would need to relocate to Villandia for approximately on a temporary basis to assist in training and staff development in the first year of operations, and will be required to carry out ongoing mentoring activities for the next 2 years. Where can I use this staffing point? Any idea where I can use the staffing point? Human resource. I just go here. Oops. I open my Word document. I hope everything is saved here. Okay, then I would just write here. Does this make sense? That we train our people. So does it make sense that we send some of our people to Villandia after we acquire the hotel to train the people there? And what will be the advantage of this? Why? How it will help? That's it. So now, do we have any experience of acquisition in the past? No. It's mentioned somewhere that they have never done any acquisition. So, however, you know the meaning of however? However means something bad. Can I say we do not? Is we the right word? Or shall I say, however, highlight hotels do not have experience? We is a better word, or highlight hotel? We is right. Manur, why do you say highlight? Oh no, Umar is saying highlight. We is better. And why is we better? Because who is writing this report? Senior business analyst. And he's from the same company, right? As finance director. So we can say we, because I'm an internal person. However, we do not have any experience of acquisition in the past, as well as operating a business outside D-Land. I picked up this point from here. Okay, there. From here. Alas. Do we have the financial resources to acquire? I don't know. So let's read. There is something given. Read this one. Finance for this investment would be available through a combination of equity and debt. Can I just copy paste this? Go to my Word and paste it. And then technology. Highlight has made some significant investment in web-based technology. We can use this once we acquire. We can use this in Comfy once we acquire them. Alas, done with feasibility. We talked about staffing, we talked about finance, brand we did not talk. If you want, you can talk about brand and technology. Acceptability, it is a hotel, is a listed hotel chain. Okay, so which means what? This means that we will need to seek approval from our shareholders before taking this decision. Okay, you think the shareholders will approve? How will they approve? If they have a positive NPV, if the proposal has a positive NPV, then they will approve. So where is the NPV? Do we have any financials? Oops, what happened? I'm just increasing the view so that you guys can read the finance. Can you see it? Yeah. So can anybody tell me where is net present value and is it positive or negative? So there are revenues, year 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and some cost and net cash flow and discounting, present value. Net present value is 10.5. What's the currency? It's in dollars. Okay. It's positive, right? Very nice. So I go here. The financial projection is showing a positive NPV of $10.6 million. Hence, it would be likely that shareholders may approve this proposal. Simple, very simple. What I just did was pick up some facts and figures. Now you need to look at the financial projection, and always now I will tell you what to look for in a financial projections. So whenever you see a financial projection in any of the exhibit, you first check 5 things. How many things? 5 things. It's a mental checklist which will help you. First, you should see whether the projections are based on discounted cash flows or not. All long-term projections has to be based on discounted cash flows. It's mandatory. If it is not based on discounted cash flow, then you need to flag that in your answer or in your report. So can anybody tell me whether this is based on discounted cash flow or not? Yeah, it's based on discounted cash flow because I can see the word cash flow and then discount factor, present value, net present value, 100% it is based on discounted. So khalas, then you don't need to mention anything. This is just my checklist. Okay, as a CFO, I look at these 5 things whenever I see this thing. So discounted cash flow 5. Now calculate simple payback period using pre-discounted cash flows. It's nice because we are finance people. It would be nice to tell the board what is the approximate payback period. So can anybody tell me which row should I look at to calculate payback? And I want simple payback pre-discount. Maybe we can use the workflow. Can anybody roughly tell me? I think it's almost 3.7, 3.8 years to cover 90 million. You can calculate it, but please don't spend extra time on it. So look, you don't have to be accurate to the decimal with the board. I would just now say, where is my Word document? I think I closed it. I will say the simple payback period of is just under 4 years. That's it. Or I can say 3.7 years or just almost 4 years, just to give an idea. It's 4 years or just under 4 years. Okay, khalas, one sentence done. Now, so we did this one. Now review assumptions for any apparent stupidity. So do you see anything weird? Aha, right away. Look at revenues, and can anybody tell me what's weird in revenues? I'm a CFO. It takes me 1 second to find stupidities. I'm actually paid to find stupidities in these workings, right? So now you think like a CFO. Think that your subordinate has given you this sheet. Revenue, can you see any stupidity in the revenue? Please let me know what's wrong in the revenue projections. Constant revenue, yes, absolutely. So I can straight away see that year 1 and year 2 revenues are exactly the same. Are you stupid? How can year 1 and year 2 revenues be exactly the same? And then year 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, they have the same revenue each year. Are you crazy? You idiot. You just mentioned this, because you see the decision will be made based on the NPV, and the NPV is being calculated based on these numbers, and these numbers look stupid to me. So if these assumptions or projections or estimates are not realistic, it will affect the NPV, and NPV will affect the decision. So it's very, very critical that the assumptions being used in these projections are realistic and makes lots of sense. We cannot afford to use stupid projected numbers. Otherwise, our decision will go wrong. So revenue, I would mention in my case, I would say the projections for revenue does not seem proper. Revenue figures for years 1 and 2 are constant, and then for year 3 to year 6 are constant. This needs to be revisited. That's it. This is how the CFO talks. This is how I talk. This number doesn't seem good. Go recheck. Go. And then one more. Anything else? Operating cost also seems to follow the same pattern as revenue. Operating cost. Enough. So on the checklist, we identified at 1 or 2 stupid comments just to show the examiner that we are CFO material. And then mention in your answer that tax implications needs to be considered, if any. So is there any tax implications considered here? Do you see any tax? No. So what do you think? Villandia doesn't have tax? I don't know. So should we mention that in our answer? We will say that, however, the projection should also need to consider any possible tax implications, because obviously the tax will reduce your profit and hence your NPV. You know, as a CFO, it is your job to make sure that the projected NPV is as accurate as humanly possible. So try to remove errors or omissions as much as possible. So fourth one is, and then in the last we will mention that we must do a sensitivity analysis. So as a CFO, I would say, what if? So what is a sensitivity analysis? It's a what if thing, no? So I will say, what if the revenues, what you are showing, is not achieved, or what if the cost goes up or more than this? So this what if or scenario analysis is known as sensitivity analysis. It is always nice to mention in the end for any projections that we should do a sensitivity analysis of these projections, just to make sure that everything is covered. Got it? You got it? Acceptability, and then we will say here something about the revenues assumptions, and then we will say the projections do not include tax implications, if any. And in the last we will say we should also carry out a sensitivity analysis of the financial projections to see various scenarios. That's it. So acceptability done. We talked about shareholders. We talked about we spent like a few lines on the financial projections. Feasibility, we talked about human resource, financial resource, IT. Suitability, we talked about home country, this and this. And in the end, we will say, should you have any further questions, please feel free to contact me. Khalas. I would like to read the question again. What format is required? Report format. Did we give that? Yes, we gave a really hot, nice report. What professional marks? Evaluation skills, which means pros and cons both. Did we give both pros and cons? Yes, we did. You have to do it consciously, okay? How much marks? 16 plus 4 is 20 marks. So approximately 2 marks per point. So 10 points. So I think we gave good number of paragraphs. It's more than 10 points. It's perfect. With this kind of an answer, I would think that out of 20, you must be able to score minimum 12 to 14 marks. Minimum. So what I did, I focused on the format. I gave a really nice format, report to, from, intros, then headings like suitability, feasibility, acceptability. In the end, I also covered should we close the report, we pros and cons, and we linked with the case. We picked up most information from the case and then added one line to wrap it up. That's it. This is all is required. More common sense, more beautification, nice presentation like you would do for a board of directors. It's serious. You are a CFO. You need to present information short but quality, logically backed, nicely presented, balanced evaluation. That's the job of a CFO. Any questions, guys? Now I can take questions. Can we spend time on writing about foreign currency exchange risk? No, you will run out of time. So things which you don't get any information from the exhibit, stay away from it because you don't have time. You have to be very fast. Do we mention the mistakes in the financial projections as a single point or made them into one paragraph? No, each mistake is one paragraph or one point. Don't mix everything together. Anything different is new paragraph. Any conclusion, I will shoot you, Amir. I told you in the start, no conclusion, Baba, no conclusion. How many lines for each mark? I will cover that in maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. But for CBE, there is no restriction of lines. For manual, maximum 5 lines per point or per paragraph. Yeah, I know, Amir. It's okay. Don't take it seriously. I was just joking. How much time we can spend to read the question? I will talk about it tomorrow. Time management. In case of confidential report, any change needed? You just, instead of writing report in the top, you write confidential report. That's it. Sir, will we do the copy paste? I don't know, I missed it. If you are asked to evaluate a strategy, that's not an acquisition. What we do, Manveer, I discussed this in the start. So please watch the recording. I explained to you what to do. Just common sense, pros and cons, external factors, internal factors, and financials. Yes, you're right, Mahagana. When I highlight the important, then do I check the requirements? Yeah, that's the whole purpose of making the list of requirements so that you can see where you can use. So our pros and cons can come in different places. Example, pros, and yes, absolutely right, Badaru. Amir, I don't know. Is this good to subheading for pros and cons? No. Giving headings for pros and cons is kiddish. We don't do this at the board level. Okay. That's very theoretical and very classroom based thing. Shouldn't we consider the cultural differences? Yes, yes, absolutely. I missed that out. You can write one sentence that since Villandia is another country, we need to consider any cultural differences. Full stop. Should we delete the question which we copied? No need. It doesn't matter. Should we need to check all exhibits because we can get points from them? Absolutely yes. We will first read all the exhibits, then we start planning the answers. Justify alignment? No, no. Share your handouts. I think ACCA will share. Otherwise, I will share it after the end of the webinar. Yes, Umar, that's perfectly fine. Should we do the same copy paste and then explain? Yes, Naseeb, that's what I was telling. I think you joined late. Writing simple sentences like yours are enough to gain marks. Enough, Baba, enough. I will never tell you in a webinar something which is not enough. I am here to make you pass, right? So whatever I say is enough. I will not discount my things. Question number 2A is also related to SFA. 2A, let me read 2A. Really? 2A, 2A. What is 2A? Prepare a draft press release responding to the criticism. So press release responding to the criticism. Are you sure about 2A? This is responding to the criticism. Or are you talking about 1A? I'm not sure. Where do we write cultural differences? Acceptability. I think you missed the start. 1A, yeah, 1A. Let's read 1A. The chief business analyst has asked you to prepare briefing notes for the finance director for consideration at the next board meeting, which discusses the key factors which have enabled Highlight to be successful in its home country of D-Land. Why do you think you need to use SFA here? I will honestly shoot you. I think you missed the start. Please say yes, you missed the start, otherwise I will shoot you. Do you see the word acquisition? No. So there's no point in using SFA here. My God. Half-baked information is more dangerous, you know. So either don't attend the webinar or attend full. More questions? You guys are not tired? Patrick, I can see your comment. Webinar, the shortcuts on this platform is not 100% similar to Word. So it's less powerful than Word. Oh, I'm very tired. You know, I just opened my fast and didn't had anything to eat except my tea. So I'm going colorblind. Homework for tomorrow, Usman. I love you. You look very serious and honest. So homework would be that you just do this question. Solve this question number 1A. Do it with your own hands, all of you. Just do question number 1A tomorrow in the daytime or evening yourself on the CBE platform or manually, as the case may be. You would feel that you are able to do it. Yes, Nisha, it's possible. Muzammil, what's wrong? Why are you sending question marks? Muzammil is asking online introduction. What is an online introduction? Muhammad Ahmed, I will cover this tomorrow or day after tomorrow, all these things. Okay, guys, our time is up. So let's call it a day now. I think you guys made good progress. You seem to be a more intelligent batch than the previous two batches, because your questions are more sensible, except for a few questions, but you will get the hang of it, no worries. All right, guys, promise me that you will do this question at home, and I promise me that you will attend tomorrow's webinar. You see how intense and exam focused it is. I honestly believe it will help you. So with that, I would take leave, and until tomorrow, you guys take care and good night.